All that with the concert of words.
Prologue.
A poem should be palpable and mute as a globed fruit,
Dumb as old medallions to the thumb,
silent as the sleeve-worn stone of constant casement ledges where the mosses grow.
a poem should be wordless as the flight of birds,
A poem should be motionless in time as the moon climbs,
leaving as the moon releases twig by twig the night-entangled trees.
leaving as the moon behind the winter leaves, memory by memory, the mind.
A poem should be motionless in time as the moon climbs.
A poem should be equal to, not true.
For all the history of grief, an empty doorway and a maple leaf.
For love, the leaning grasses and two lights above the sea.
A poem should not mean, but be.
Archibald MacLeish, Ars Poetica.
Like a piece of ice on a hot stove, a poem must ride on its own melting.
Robert Frost, The Figure a Poem Makes.
I too am not a bit tamed. I too am untranslatable. I sound my barbaric yawp over the roofs of the world.
Walt Whitman, Leaves of Grass. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to an evening that we call a concert of words. Why? Because tonight it is our aim to prove once again that words, simple, unadorned words, can constitute some of the most powerful music. As in music, words combine to create cadence and beat and rhythm, like a heartbeat of the mind or a pulse of the soul. Like music, words seize our attention, speak to our emotions, move our souls, remind us that we are not alone. If music is another kind of language, surely it is also true that words are another kind of music. Tonight, our concert of words will explore, through verse, the great themes that our great poets, mostly English and American poets, have sounded again and again through the ages. Love, the beauties and cruelties of nature, religious awe, workaday life, time and the end of life, and love again. Love. There are many varieties of love: high-minded, spiritual love, light-hearted love, erotic love, tragic, unrequited love. Listen now as we explore the varieties of love.
How do I love thee? Let me count the ways. I love thee to the depth and breadth and height my soul can reach. When feeling out of sight for the ends of being and ideal grace, I love thee to the level of every day's most quiet need by sun and candlelight. I love thee freely as men strive for right. I love thee purely as they turn from praise. I love thee with the passion put to use in my old griefs and with my childhood's faith. I love thee with the love I seem to lose with my lost saints. I love thee with the breath, smiles, tears of all my life, and if God choose, I shall but love thee better after death.
Elizabeth Barrett Browning, Sonnets from the Portuguese. And there is passionate love, love suffused with yearning, as when Romeo first sees Juliet at the Capulet's ball.
Oh, she doth teach the torches to burn bright. It seems her beauty hangs upon the night as a rich jewel in an Ethiop's ear. Beauty, too rich for sight, for earth too dear. So shows a snowy dove, trooping among the crows, as yonder lady o'er her fellows shows. The measure done, I'll watch her place of stand, and touching hers, make blessed my rude hand. Did my heart love till now? Forswear it, sight, I never saw true beauty till this night.
William Shakespeare, The Tragedy of Romeo and Juliet. The poets remind us that love has not only a mind and a heart, but also a body.
After we flew across the country, we got in bed, laid our bodies delicately together, like maps laid face to face, east to west, my San Francisco against your New York, your Fire Island against my Sonoma, my New Orleans deep in your Texas, your Idaho bright on my Great Lakes, my Kansas burning against your Kansas, and your Kansas burning against my Kansas, your Eastern Standard Time pressing into my Pacific Time, and my Mountain Time beating against your Central Time, and your sun rising swiftly from the right, and my sun rising quickly from the left, and your moon rising slowly from the left, and my moon rising slowly from the night, until all four bodies of the sky burn above us, sealing us together, all our cities, twin cities, all our states united, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sharon Olds, Topography. There is playful love.
Gather ye rosebuds while ye may, old time is still a-flying. And this same flower that smiles today, tomorrow may be dying. The glorious lamp of heaven, the sun, the higher he's a-getting, and sooner will his race be run, and nearer he's to setting. That age is best which is the first, when youth and blood are warmer, but being spent the worse, and worse times still succeed the former. Then be not coy, but use your time, and when you will, go marry, for having lost but once your prime, you may forever tarry.
Robert Herrick, To the Virgins to Make Much of Time.
What large dark hands are those at the window, grasping in the golden light, which weaves its way through the evening wind at my heart's delight? Ah, only the leaves, but in the west I see a redness suddenly come into the evening's anxious breast. 'Tis the wound of love goes home. The woodbine creeps abroad, crawling low to her lover. The sunlit flirt, who all the day has poised above her lips in play, and stolen kisses, shallow and gay, of pollen, now has gone away. She woos the moth with her sweet low word, and when above her his moth wings hover, then her bright breast she will uncover, and yield her honey drop to her lover. Into the yellow evening glow saunters a man from the farm below, leans and looks in at the low-built shed where the swallow has hung her marriage bed. The bird lies warm against the wall, and she glances quick her startled eyes towards him, and then she turns away her small head, making warm display of red upon the throat. Her terrors sway her out of the nest's warm busy ball, whose plaintive cry is heard as she flies in one blue stoop from out of the skies into the twilight's empty hall. O water hen beside your rushes, ride your quaintly scarlet blushes, still your quick tail, lie still as dead, till the distance rolls over his ominous tread. The rabbit presses back her ears, turns her liquid anguished eyes, and crouches low, then with a wild spring spurts the terror of his oncoming, to be choked back the wire ring, her frantic efforts throttling, piteous brown ball of quivering fears, and soon in his dark, large hands she dies, and swings all loose from the swing of his walk, and yet calm and kindly are his eyes, and ready to open in brown surprise should I not answer to his talk, or that he should my tears surmise. I hear his hand on the latch and rise from my chair, watching the door open, and he flashes bare his strong teeth in a smile, and flashes his eyes in a smile like triumph upon me. Then, careless-wise, he flings the rabbit soft on the table board and comes towards me. Oh, the uplifted sword of his hand against my bosom, and oh, the broad blade of his glance that asked me to applaud his coming. And with his hand he turns my face to him and caresses me with his fingers that still smell green of the rabbit's fur. Oh God, I am caught in a snare. I know not what fine wire is round my throat. I only know I let him finger there my pulse of life, and let him nose like a stoat who sniffs with joy before he drinks the blood, and down his mouth comes upon my mouth, and down his dark bright eyes come over me like a hood. Upon my mind his lips meet mine, and a flood of sweet fire sweeps across me, so I drown against him, die, and find death good.
D.H. Lawrence, Love on the Farm. There is enduring love, love that lasts till death.
When you are old and gray and full of sleep, and nodding by the fire, take down this book and slowly read, and dream of the soft look your eyes had once, and of their shadows deep. How many loved your moments of glad grace, and loved your beauty with full false or true. But one man loved the pilgrim soul in you, and loved the sorrows of your changing face. And bending down beside the glowing bars, murmur a little sadly, how love fled and paced upon the mountains overhead, and hid his face among a crowd of stars.
W.B. Yeats, When You Are Old. And finally, there is that saddest of loves, unrequited love.
When I am dead, and over me bright April shakes out her rain-drenched hair, though you should lean above me, broken-hearted, I shall not care. I shall have peace as leafy trees are peaceful when rain bends down the bough, and I shall be more silent and cold-hearted than you are now.
Sarah Teasdale, I shall not care. And God said, let the earth bring forth grass upon the earth, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, whose seed is in itself. And it was so. And God created great whales, and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. From the beginning, poets have celebrated nature, the beauties of nature, and the myriad creatures of nature.
I wandered lonely as a cloud that floats on high o'er vales and hills, when all at once I saw a crowd, a host of golden daffodils, beside the lake, beneath the trees, fluttering and dancing in the breeze. Continuous as the stars that shine and twinkle on the Milky Way, they stretched in never-ending line along the margin of a bay. 10,000 saw I at a glance, tossing their heads in sprightly dance. The waves beside them danced, but they outdid the sparkling waves in glee. A poet could not be but gay in such a jocund company. I gazed and gazed, but little thought what wealth the show to me had brought. For oft, when on my couch I lie, in vacant or in pensive mood, they flash upon that inward eye which is the bliss of solitude. And then my heart with pleasure fills and dances with the daffodils.
William Wordsworth. I wandered lonely as a cloud.
I caught this morning's minion, kingdom of daylight's dolphin. Dappled dawn, drawn falcon in his riding, of the rolling level underneath him steady air, and striding high there, how he hung upon the rein of a wimpling wing in his ecstasy, then off and off on swing as a skate's heel sweeps smooth on a bow bend, the hurl and gliding rebuff the big wind. My heart is hiding, stirred for a bird, the achieve of and the mastery of the thing. Brute beauty and valor and act, oh, air, pride, room here, buckle, and the fire that breaks from thee then, a billion times told lovelier, more dangerous, oh my chevalier, no wonder of it. Sheer plod makes plow down Sicilian shine and blue bleak embers. Ah, my dear, fall, gall themselves, and gash gold vermilion.
Gerard Manley Hopkins, The Wind Hover.
Today there's the kind of sunshine old men love. The kind of day when my grandfather would sit on the south side of the wooden corn crib where the sunlight warmed slowly all through the day like a wood stove. One after another dry leaves fell. No painful memories came. Everything was lit by a halo of light. The corn stalks glinted bright as a piece of glass. From the fields and cottonwood grove came the damp smell of mushrooms, of things going back to earth. I sat with my grandfather then. Sheep came up to us as we sat there, their oily wool so warm to my fingers. Like a strange and magic snow. My grandfather whittled sweet-smelling apple sticks just to get at the scent. His thumb had a permanent groove in it where the back of the knife blade rested. He let me listen to the wind, the wild geese, the soft dialect of sheep, while his own silence taught me every secret thing he knew.
Tom Hennon, Soaking Up Sun.
A bird came down the walk he did not know I saw. He bit an angleworm in halves and ate the fellow raw. And then he drank a dew from a convenient grass, then hopped sidewise to the wall to let a beetle pass. He glanced with rapid eyes, then hurried all around. They looked like frightened beads, I thought, stirred in his velvet head. Like one in danger, cautious, I offered him a crumb, and he unrolled his feathers and rode him softly home. Then oars divide the ocean, too silver for a seam, or butterflies off banks of loon leap, splashless, as they swim.
Emily Dickinson, A bird came down.
Slowly the moon is rising out of the ruddy haze, divesting herself of her golden shift, and so emerging white and exquisite. And I, in amaze, see in the sky a woman I did not know I loved. But there she goes, and her beauty hurts my heart. I follow her down the night, begging her not to depart.
D.H. Lawrence, Aware.
Tree at my window, window tree, my sash is lowered when night comes on, but let there never be curtain drawn between you and me. Vague dream head lifted out of the ground, and thing next most diffuse to cloud. Not all your light tongues talking aloud could be profound. But tree, I have seen you taken and tossed, and if you have seen me when I slept, you have seen me when I was taken and swept and all but lost. That day she put our heads together, fate had her imagination about her. Your head was so much concerned with outer, mine with inner weather.
Robert Frost, Tree at my window.
The cat sits on the sofa looking out the window through the softly falling snow at the last bit of gray light. I can't say the sun is going down. We haven't seen the sun for 2 months. Who cares? I'm sitting in the blue chair listening to this stillness. The only sound, the occasional gurgle of tea coming out of the pot and into the cup. How can this be? Such calm, such peace, such solitude in this world of woe.
David Budbill, the 6th of January. Searching for God. 2 great themes then for poets, love and nature. Closely related is yet another great poetic theme, religious awe. Man's insignificance against the vastness of heaven and the endless span of eternity. The search for God.
I fled him down the nights and down the days. I fled him down the arches of the years. I fled him down the labyrinthine ways of my own mind. And in the midst of tears, I hid from him, and under running laughter. Up vistaed hopes I sped, and shot precipitated, adown titanic glooms of chasm fears, from those strong feet that followed after, but with unhurrying chase and unperturbed pace, deliberate speed, majestic instancy, they beat, and a voice beat, more instant than the feet. All things betray thee, who betrayest me.
Francis Thompson, The Hound of Heaven.
There is joy in all. In the hair I brush each morning, in the cannon towel newly washed that I rub my body with each morning, in the chapel of eggs I cook each morning, in the outcry from the kettle that heats my coffee each morning, in the spoon and the chair that cry, "Hello there, Anne," each morning, in the Godhead of the table that I set my silver plate cup upon each morning. All this is God, right here in my pea green house, each morning. And I mean, though often forget, to give thanks, to faint down by the kitchen table in a prayer of rejoicing, as the holy birds in the kitchen windows peck into their marriage of seeds. So while I think of it, let me paint a thank you on my palm for this God, this laughter of the morning, lest it go unspoken. The joy that isn't shared, I've heard, dies young.
Anne Sexton, Welcome, morning.
The Lord to me a shepherd is, want therefore shall not I. He in the folds of tender grass doth cause me down to lie. To waters calm me gently leads. Restore my soul doth he. He doth in paths of righteousness for his name's sake lead me. Yea, though in valley of death's shade I walk, none ill I'll fear, because thou art with me. Thy rod and staff my comfort are. For me a table thou hast spread in presence of my foes. Thou dost anoint my head with oil, my cup it overflows. Goodness and mercy surely shall all my days follow me, and in the Lord's house I shall dwell, so long as days shall be.
The Bay Psalm Book, Psalm 23.
The world is charged with the grandeur of God. It will flame out like shining from shook foil. It gathers to a greatness like the ooze of oil, crushed. Why do men not wreck his rod? Generations have trod, have trod, have trod, and all is seared with trade, bleared, smeared with toil, and wears man's smudge and shares man's smell. The soil is bare now, nor can foot feel being shod. And for all this, nature is never spent. There lives the dearest freshness deep down in things. And though the last lights of the black west went, O morning, at the brown brink eastward springs, because the Holy Ghost over the bent world broods with warm breasts and bright wings.
Gerard Manley Hopkins, God's Grandeur. And at least since the great crisis of belief in the Victorian age and Darwin's The Origin of Species, we have had great poems, not only about faith, but about the loss of faith.
The sea is calm tonight. The tide is full, the moon lies fair upon the straits. On the French coast the light gleams and is gone. The cliffs of England stand glimmering and vast out in the tranquil bay. Come to the window. Sweet is the night air. Only from the long line of spray where the sea meets the moon-blanched land. Listen. You hear the grating roar of pebbles which the waves draw back and fling at their return upon the high strand, begin and cease, and then again begin with tremulous cadence, slow, and bring the eternal note of sadness in. Sophocles, long ago, heard it on the Aegean, and it brought into his mind the turbid ebb and flow of human misery. We find also in the sound a thought, hearing it by this distant northern sea. The sea of faith was once too at the full, and round earth's shore lay like the folds of a bright girdle furled. But now I only hear its melancholy, long withdrawing roar, retreating to the breath of the night wind down the vast edges, drear and naked shingles of the world. Ah, love, let us be true to one another. For the world which seems to lie before us like a land of dreams, so various, so beautiful, so new, has really neither joy, nor love, nor light, nor certitude, nor peace, nor help for pain. And we are here as on a darkling plain, swept with confused alarms of struggle and flight, where ignorant armies clash by night.
Matthew Arnold, Dover Beach.
Out of the pit that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I thank whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloodied but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
William Ernest Henley, Invictus.
Oh, Commodore, pudding and pie, give me a break before I die. Grant me wisdom and will and wit, purity, probity, pluck and grit. Trustworthy, loyal, helpful, kind, give me great abs and a steel-trap mind. And forgive ye gods some humble advice, these little blessings would suffice to beget an earthly paradise. Make the bad people good, and the good people nice. And before the world goes over the brink, teach the believers how to think.
Philip Appleman, Untitled. Life as it is lived. Not all the themes of the poets are elevated or weighted or serious. Not all about heavy subjects like nature or God. Some of the best poems have been simple statements about everyday life, workaday life. Statements often serious and striking in their insights, and statements sometimes delightfully funny.
The rich man has his motor car, his country and his town estate. He smokes a 50-cent cigar and jeers at fate. He fibbles through the lifelong day and knows not poverty nor pinch. His lot seems light, his heart seems gay, he has a cinch. And yet, though my lamp burns low and dim, though I must slave for livelihood, think you that I would change with him? You bet I would.
Franklin P. Adams, The Rich Man.
Matilda told such dreadful lies, it made one gasp and stretch one's eyes. Her aunt, who from her earliest youth had kept a strict regard for truth, attempted to believe Matilda. The effort very nearly killed her, and would have done so had not she discovered this infirmity. For once, toward the close of day, Matilda, growing tired of play, and finding she was left alone, went tiptoe to the telephone, and summoned the immediate aid of London's noble fire brigade. Within an hour, the gallant band were pouring in on every hand. From Putney, Hackney, Downs, and Bow, with courage high and hearts aglow, they galloped roaring through the town. Matilda's house is burning down! Inspired by British cheers and loud, proceeding from the frenzied crowd, they ran their ladders through a score of windows on the ballroom floor, and took peculiar pains to souse the pictures up and down the house, until Matilda's aunt succeeded in showing them they were not needed. And even then she had to pay to get the men to go away. It happened that a few weeks later, her aunt was off to the theater to see that interesting play, The Second Mrs. Tanqueray. She had refused to take her niece to hear this entertaining piece, a deprivation just as wise to punish her for telling lies. That night a fire did break out. You should have heard Matilda shout. You should have heard her scream and bawl, and throw the window up and call to people passing in the street the rapidly increasing heat, encouraging her to obtain their confidence, but all in vain. For every time she shouted, "Fire!" they only answered, "Little liar!" And therefore, when her aunt returned, Matilda and the house were burned.
Ella, Matilda, who told lies and was burned to death.
She comes drenched in a perfume called self-satisfaction. From her feather boa to her silver pumps, she does not need to be loved by you, but she will give you credit for good taste. Just because you say you love her, she's not throwing herself at your feet in gratitude. Every other star reveals how worthless she feels by crying when the hero says he loves her, or how unhoped for the approval is when the audience applauds her big number. But Mae West, she takes it as her due. She knows she's good. She expects the best for herself. And she knows she's worth what it costs. And she costs plenty. She's not giving anything away. Above all, she enjoys herself, swinging her body that says, me, 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 me. Why not have a good time? As long as you amuse me, go on. I like you slobbering over my hand, big boy. I have a right to. Most convincing, we know all this not by her preaching, but by her presence. It is no act. Every word and look and movement spells independence. She likes being herself, and we who don't can only look on, astonished.
Edward Field, Mae West.
A snake came to my water trough on a hot, hot day, and I, in my pajamas for the heat, to drink there. In the deep, strange, scented shade of the great dark garret tree, I came down the steps with my pitcher and must wait, must stand and wait, for there he was at the trough before me. He reached down from a fissure in the earth wall in the gloom and trailed his yellow-brown slackness soft-bellied down over the edge of the stone trough and rested his throat upon the stone bottom. And where the water had dripped from the tap, in a small clearness, he sipped with his straight mouth, softly drank through his straight gums into his long, slack body silently. Someone was before me at my water trough, and I, like a second comer, waiting. He lifted his head from his drinking, as cattle do, and looked at me vaguely, as drinking cattle do, and flickered his two-forked tongue from his lips, and mused a moment, and stopped, and drank a little more, before earth-brown, earth-golden from the burning bowels of the earth on the day of Sicilian July, with Etna smoking. The voice of my education said to me, he must be killed. For in Sicily, the black snakes are innocent, and the gold are venomous. And voices in me said, if you were a man, you would take a stick and break him now and finish him off. But must I confess how I liked him? How glad I was he had come like a guest in quiet to drink at my water trough and depart peaceful, pacified, and thankless into the burning bowels of the earth. Was it cowardice that I dared not kill him? Was it perversity that I longed to talk to him? Was it humility to feel so honored? I felt so honored. And yet those voices, if you were not afraid, you would kill him. And truly I was afraid. I was most afraid, and even so, honored still more that he should seek my hospitality from out of the dark door of the secret earth. He drank enough and lifted his head dreamily, as one who has drunken and flickered his tongue like a forked knight on the air, so black, seeming to lick his lips, and looked around like a god unseeing into the air, and slowly turned his head, and slowly, very slowly, as if thrice a dream, proceeded to draw his slow length, curving round and climbing again the broken bank of my wall face. And as he put his head into that dreadful hole, and he slowly drew up, snake easing his shoulders, and entered farther, a sort of horror, a sort of protest against withdrawing into that horrid black hole, deliberately going into that blackness, and slowly drawing himself after, overcame me now. His back was turned. I looked around, I put down my picture, I picked up a clumsy log and threw it at the water trough with a clatter. I think it did not hit him. But suddenly that part of him that was left behind convulsed in an undignified haste, writhed like lightning, and was gone into the black hole, the earth-lit fissure in the wall front, at which, in the intense still noon, I stared with fascination. And immediately, I regretted it. I thought, how paltry, how vulgar, what a mean act. I despised myself and the voices of my accursed human education. And I thought of the albatross, and I wished he would come back, my snake. For he seemed to me again like a king in exile, uncrowned in the underworld, now due to be crowned again. And so, I missed my chance to be with one of the lords of life, and I have something to expiate, a pettiness.
D.H. Lawrence, Snake. Time and the evanescence of life. My candle burns at both ends, it will not last the night. But ah, my foes, and oh, my friends, it gives a lovely light. Edna St. Vincent Millay. Time, the inexorability of time, the heavy reality of time, the shortness of our time on earth, and finally, death itself. These constitute yet another great theme of poetry.
But at my back, I always hear time's winged chariot hurrying near. And yonder all before us lie deserts of vast eternity. Thy beauty shall no more be found, nor in the marble vault shall sound my echoing song. The worm shall try that long preserved virginity, and your quaint honor turn to dust, and into ashes all my lust. The grave's a fine and private place, but none do there, I think, embrace.
Andrew Marvell, to his coy mistress.
King David and King Solomon led merry, merry lives, with many, many lady friends, and many, many wives. And when old age crept over them, with many, many qualms, King Solomon wrote the Proverbs, and King David wrote the Psalms.
James Ball Naylor, authorship.
Time, like an ever-rolling stream, bears all its sons away. They fly forgotten as a dream dies at the opening day. 1,000 ages in thy sight are like an evening gone, short as the watch that ends the night before the rising sun.
Isaac Watts. O God, our help in ages past.
I heard a fly buzz when I died. The stillness round my form was like the stillness in the air between the heaves of storm. The eyes beside me had wrung them dry, and breaths were gathering sure for that last onset when the king be witnessed in his power. I willed my keepsakes, signed away what portion of me I could make assignable, and then there interposed a fly, with blue, uncertain, stumbling buzz between the light and me, and then the windows failed, and then I could not see to see.
Emily Dickinson. I heard a fly buzz.
If I should die, think only this of me, that there's some corner of a foreign field that is forever England. There shall be in that rich earth a richer dust concealed, a dust whom England bore, shaped, made aware, gave once her flowers to love, her ways to roam, a body of England's breathing English air, washed by the rivers, blessed by the sons of home. And think this heart, all evil shed away, a pulse in the eternal mind, no less, gives someone back the thoughts of England given, her sights and sounds, dreams happy as a day, and laughter learned of friends and gentleness, in hearts at peace under an English heaven.
Rupert Brooke, the soldier.
My mother said, of course, it may be nothing, but your father has a spot on his lung. That was all that was said. My father at 51 could never speak of dreadful things without tears. When I started home, I kissed his cheek, which was not our habit. In a letter, my mother asked me not to kiss him again because it made him sad. In 2 weeks, the exploratory revealed an inoperable lesion. The doctors never told him, he never asked, but he read the home medical guidebook. 7 months later, just after his 51st birthday, his eyesight going, his voice reduced to a whisper. 3 days before he died, he said, "If anything should happen to me."
Donald Hall, untitled.
Do not go gentle into that good night. Old age should burn and rage at close of day. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Though wise men at their end know dark is right, because their words had fought no lightning, they do not go gentle into that good night. Good men the last wave by, crying how bright their frail deeds might have danced in the green bay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. Wild men who caught and sang the sun in flight, and learned too late they grieved it on its way, do not go gentle into that good night. Grave men near death, who see with blinding sight, blind eyes could blaze like meteors and be gay. Rage, rage against the dying of the light. And you, my father, there on the sad height, curse, bless me now with your fierce tears, I pray, do not go gentle into that good night. Rage, rage against the dying of the light.
Dylan Thomas, do not go gentle.
I don't mind dying, but I'd hate to die alone. I want a dozen pretty women to holler, cry, and moan. I don't mind dying, but I want my funeral to be fine. A row of long, tall mamas fainting, fanning, and crying. I want a fishtail hearse, 16 fishtail cars, a big brass band, and a whole truckload of flowers. And when they let me down in the clay, I want the women to holler, please don't take him away. Oh, don't take Daddy away.
Langston Hughes, as befits a man. Love again. But love, as the poets tell us, is more enduring than time, stronger than death, and so, love again.
My mistress' eyes are nothing like the sun. Coral is far more red than her lips red. If snow be white, why then her breasts are dun. If hairs be wires, black wires grow on her head. I have seen roses damask red and white, but no such roses see I in her cheeks. And in some perfumes there is more delight than in her breath from which my mistress reeks. I love to hear her speak, yet well I know that music hath a far more pleasing sound. I grant I never saw a goddess go. My mistress, when she walks, treads on the ground. And yet, by heaven, I think my love as rare as any she belied with false compare.
William Shakespeare, My Mistress's Eyes.
A single flower he sent me since we met. All tenderly his messenger he chose, deep-hearted, pure, with scented dew still wet, one perfect rose. I knew the language of the floweret, my fragile leaves, it said, his heart enclose. Love long has taken for his amulet one perfect rose. Why is it no one ever sent me yet one perfect limousine, do you suppose? Ah, no, it's always just my luck to get one perfect rose.
Dorothy Parker, One Perfect Rose.
The room was poor and squalid, hidden above a dubious tavern. From the window you could see the alley filthy and narrow. From below came the voices of some workmen playing cards and carousing. And there, on the much-used, lowly bed, I had the body of love. I had the lips, the voluptuous and rosy lips of ecstasy. Rosy lips of such ecstasy that even now, as I write, after so many years in my solitary house, I am drunk again.
C.P. Calloway, One Night.
Oh, life is a glorious circle of song, a medley of extemporanea, and love is a thing that can never go wrong, and I am Marie of Romania.
Dorothy Parker, comment.
She walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspect and her eyes. Thus mellowed to that tender light which heaven so gaudy day denies, one shade the more, one ray the less, had half impaired the nameless grace which waves in every raven tress, or softly lightens o'er her face, where thoughts serenely sweet express how pure, how dear their dwelling place. And on that cheek and o'er that brow so soft, so calm, yet eloquent, the smiles that win, the tints that glow, but tell of days in a goodness spent, a mind at peace with all below, a heart whose love is innocent.
William Wordsworth, She Walks in Beauty.
Age cannot wither nor custom stale her infinite variety. Other women cloy the appetites they feed, but she doth make most hungry where she doth most satisfy.
William Shakespeare, Antony and Cleopatra.
Men seldom make passes at girls who wear glasses.
Dorothy Parker. Finale.
A poem should be palpable and mute as a globe fruit,
Dumb as old medallions to the thumb,
silent as the sleeve-worn stone of casement ledges where the moss has grown.
And so our concert of words, a tribute to those composers whose songs made of words live on. Percy Bysshe Shelley said in an essay that poets are the unacknowledged legislators of the world. Whether or not that statement is true, surely it is true that poets are among the true musicians of the world, creating chords that seize our attention, speak to our emotions, move our souls, chords that remind us that we are not alone, shimmering chords that linger in our minds.
a poem should be wordless as the flight of birds,
A poem should be motionless in time as the moon climbs.
leaving as the moon releases twig by twig the night entangled trees.
Leaving as the moon behind the winter leaves, memory by memory, the mind.
Wordsworth described poetry as felt thought. Think for a moment about that definition. A sort of poem in itself. Felt thought.
A poem should be motionless in time as the moon climbs.
A poem should be equal to, not true.
For all the history of grief, an empty doorway and a maple leaf.
For love, the leaning grasses and two lights above the sea.
A poem should not mean, but be.
Never better, mad as a hatter, right as rain, might and main, hanky-panky, hot toddy.
Hoity-toity, cold shoulder, bowled over, rolling in clover. No blow, no stove, ho.
Hope against hope, pay the piper, liar, liar, pants on fire, high and dry, shoe fly by.
Fiddle faddle, fit as a fiddle, sultan of Swat, muskrat ramble, fat and sassy.
Flam, flam, happy as a clam, cat's pajamas, bee's knees, peas in a pod, pleased as punch.
Pretty as a picture, nothing much. Lift the latch, double dutch, helter-skelter, hurdy-gurdy.
Early bird, feathered friend, dumb cluck, buck up, shilly-shally, willy-nilly.
Roly-poly, holy moly, loose lips, sink ships, spitting image, nip in the air.
Hale and hearty, part and parcel, upsy-daisy, lazy days, maybe baby, up to snuff.
Flippity-gibbet, honky-tonk, spick and span, handyman, cool as a cucumber, blue moon, high as a kite, night and noon, love me or leave me, seventh heaven, up and out, over and out, out.
Thank you.